Good day. My name is Maya Pollard, and me, along with my group members Anthony Escarpeta, Azuri Hamilton, Daniela Matos, and Tara Fairweather, will be discussing our topic of furries as a subculture.
Origin. According to fandom historian Fred Patton, the concept of furry originated at a science fiction convention in 1980 when a character drawing from Steve Gallach's Albedo Anthropomorphics started a discussion of anthropomorphic characters in science fiction novels. This led to the formation of a discussion group that met at science fiction conventions and comics conventions. The specific term, furry fandom, was being used in fanzines as early as 1983 and had become the standard name for the genre by mid-1990s when it was defined as the organized appreciation and dissemination of art and prose regarding furries or fictional mammalian anthropomorphic characters. Fans considered the origins of furry fandom to be much earlier, with fictional works such as Kimba the White Lion, released in 1965, and Disney's Robin Hood as off-cited examples. Traditions. Digital traditional art, styles of animation, drawing, sculpting, sewing of animal characters. Costuming, mascot-style costumes, tail sets, or small accessories relating to furry characters, most commonly called fursuits. Literature, poems, novels, books relating to furry characters. Conventions, a formal gathering of members of the furry fandom, people who are interested in the concept of fictional non-human animal characters with human characteristics. Language. The furry code was originally used as a Usenet shorthand of a person's furry characteristics. The furry code consists of a series of letter, number, and symbol codes, each describing the furry in some category. Each code consists of a prefix, a letter that indicates which category being talked about, and a suffix, one or more characters that indicate where someone would place themselves in the category.
Belief, values, and ideologies. The furry community, like many subcultures, often define themselves as a opposition to other subcultures. The furry community has a strong belief about furry identity. These beliefs are reinforced by community norms and exclude others. Furries express themselves by creating personas, or the appropriate term, personas of an anthropomorphic animal character with human characteristics and traits. More than 95% of the furry community have a fursona, and anthropomorphic avatars or representation of themselves. Most furries express their beliefs through visual arts, conventions, literature, and online communities. These are strongly important to their fandom. Conventions are one way furries come out to socialize and promote their culture. Sufficient interest and memberships has enabled the creation of many furry conventions in North America, Europe, Asia, and Asia. A furry convention is for the fans to get together, buy and sell and share artwork, participate in workshops, wear costumes, and socialize. They have a strong sense of community because many of the furry fandom have been victims of bullying and find socializing easier in being with people of their similar experience. How are symbols used by members of the subculture to draw conclusion or interpret behavior? Some furries use a symbol known as a pipe opera, which was developed in 2007 on the Yifstar internet forum to distinguish who is a true furry from a normal person at a convention. Furries use fan art and specifically designed suits to showcase their personas and animal identity. Fox ears, tails, mouth, and fursuits are all examples. Since furry culture is most active online, when a furry artist draws a furry character with more human than animal autonomy, it is assumed that that artist most likely draws NSFW furry art.
Sociology as a science connection. Since this subculture tends to go against the norms of society, they fall under the social conflict theory. This theory argues that individuals and groups within society interact on the basis of conflict rather than consensus. The consensus in society is about how social order is maintained. From this perspective, everyone agrees on social norms and people work together to maintain balance. The social conflict theory also explains how deviance is a result of social unfairness and rejection from people in power in society. Deviance is defined as any violation of social norms, whether the infraction is minor or major. This can be both formal and informal. For example, crime is seen as a violation of a formal norm like the law, while deviance is more of a violation of an informal norm that derives from popular belief. Deviance is more subjected to criticism, ridicule, and rejection from other informal groups in society, including family, peers, or even strangers. Furries demonstrate informal deviance because they violate traditional social norms for their clothing and mannerisms, and that gains a negative reaction from other people, even though they aren't necessarily committing a crime.
Discussing the impact that furries have on society and vice versa. So, furries, although seemingly harmless, experience a lot of hate directed towards them. These stereotypes are them being seen as weirdos or sexual deviants or mentally unstable. Most of these stereotypes come from people not understanding what exactly is going on in the furry fandom and just assuming whatever is happening without actual evidence to back it up. Furries are looked down upon by society as a subculture because it breaks societal norms of sexuality, gender, and appearance. Not a large percentage of furries are a part of the LGBTQ, um, but society sees them as a huge part of it, and so because that's not the norm in society, because of heteronormativity, they're seen as bad or vulgar or something. Even other subcultures that may be considered closely related to furry fandom look down on them. This can be seen with otherkin. Otherkin is this other subculture about people who spiritually believe that they are of another species or they identify with another species. Although at face value this may seem very similar to the furry fandom, they actually look down on the furry fandom for some reason. I guess a part of it has to do with furries being a part of cringe culture, which is just a internet meme that basically hates on anything for no reason whatsoever. And unfortunately, furries are one of the centermost subcultures, a part of cringe culture. Furries themselves don't really have much effect on society because they tend to keep to themselves and be at their conventions and their own side of websites like Instagram, Facebook, and stuff, so they can have a sense of community. And in their community, there's actually very little, if no, oppression because they all share similar experiences with each other, and so they can have that sense of unity with each other. For our presentation here, we decided to demonstrate furry art. So here we have our own original character that we created because we didn't have any means or ways of getting any type of fursuit or any clothing that furries normally would wear. This piece of art is actually made with references from popular furry art with common characteristics of popular furry art, which are big eyes, cute mouths, big thighs, and simplified paws. Furry art is actually very difficult to make because of the combining of human anatomy and animal anatomy, so that would probably explain why the demand for furry art is so high in the community and even outside of the community for people who aren't necessarily furries but just like the art because it's very unique and it's also very expensive.
Contribution of sources. The beliefs, values, ideology, and symbols of furries gives us a clear look at the nature of the subculture. It delves into the way they think and the way they express themselves based on their self-built ideologies and values they withhold or even how they carry themselves within society. From a sociological perspective, the furry community is one of deviance. It goes against society's norms or what they would like to call not normal. From their behaviors to the way they dress, it is something unique. Origins, traditions, and language is what makes the furry community. It gives us a look back at how they came to be and the way they have developed or continue to develop in today's day and age. The impact they have based on society's view is rather negative, making them receive a continuous amount of hate for who they are and what they do. It came to speak on how the acts of this community were disgusting or unacceptable, but it also acted as a solace for those who felt out of place in society, giving them a sense of autonomy. Demonstration was used to depict a furry's persona. It's what they would like to call characters, personas, or avatars. Maybe you could compare it to a sense of identity. E-source were articles or even personal interviews by peers part of the furry community. They used their voices to let the world know of the norms they were breaking out of and giving the world a clear view of what they truly stand for as a community.